Hi and welcome to this playthrough of Arkham Horror the card game. This is scenario 2 in the base game. This is the Midnight Masks. I'm playing it as a standalone rather than part of the scenario, the campaign. I'm using the two investigators, Mark Harrigan and Ashcam Pete. We have started off in your house. I've set it up, so we have the house ready there. Because I have two players, I have an acolyte which is already spawned at south side. This is the town that we're going to be exploring. I believe it is Arkham itself. I've also, you may notice, I've got these little indication tokens. These show you which way you can move through the town. So from our house we can go into Rivertown and then maybe over to the graveyard or over to these other places. The idea of this game is to try to uncover a conspiracy. There's a group of cultists who are up here at the moment out of the game, who will be coming into the game later on as we go along, and I need to find as many as possible to complete this scenario. My objective is to find as many of the unique cultists enemies as you can and then add them to the victory display, so they're in here somewhere. I will shuffle this deck of cultists first of all. So this is now separate from the encounter deck. One of the things I can do with my investigators is spend two clues together to reveal a cultist from this deck. So that's what I'm going to be trying to do as I work my way through the map. I've already drawn my first hand for both of these guys. And the first thing to do is really just to start playing this game. I've not used the soldier or Ashcam Pete before, so this is going to be interesting. So it says here we have one night to find the members of this cult and unveil their plan. The more members of the cult you can find and interrogate before midnight, the better. Lita, who was in the previous scenario, seems convinced of a conspiracy within the city of Arkham. She believes that a secret cult serves the ghouls that live in the crypts below the city and serve the cult's prominent members. Some of the cult's prominent members are scattered throughout Arkham. As you begin searching for them, you can't shake the feeling that you too are being hunted. We have an action here which allows us to resign if we want to, and as I say, we can spend these two clues to move the act deck on. So I'm going to start with Mark with his three actions first of all. We have, we're at our house first of all. It's got a shroud of two, and there are two clues there. So what I want to do is try to get some of these clues. So my first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to get some of these items into my hand. First of all, I will pay 2 resources for a flashlight. That uses 3 supplies, so I put my 3 supplies onto the flashlight here. And as a first action, Mark will use a 1 supply to reduce the shroud down to 0. So I only have 3 actions, so this would be my second action. So taking my first chip, we have, oh, that's an automatic pass. It's +1 for each damage on Mark Harrigan. He hasn't got any damage on him. However, he does get a -1 to each of his skills because of his weakness. This Sophie, it says it was all my fault. Sophie cannot leave play, get -1 to each of your skills. However, if I get 4 or less damage on Mark, I flip Sophie. So I'm assuming that happens straight away, or maybe when he gets some damage. So I have 2, -1 because of Sophie. That gives me a +1 for every damage. I don't have any damage, but it still gives me enough to get that clue. So his third and final action for this turn will be the same. I will get rid of another flashlight and here +1. So he had a 1, +1 is 2 against 0, so I can take that there. Now it says I can spend 2 clues per investigator to take the top card of the cultist deck. So let's flip Mark over. So Pete's first action is going to be to spend the 2 clues that Mark just took to flip the first card, and it is Peter Warren. He spawns at Miskatonic University, the occult professor. If I spend 2 clues, I can parley with him and add Peter Warren to the victory display. So he's lurking over at Miskatonic University, so he's on the other end of town. So I'll just put him there for now. And so now Ashcan Pete has 2 more turns. There's not much else I can do here really at the house. I can draw a card and gain a resource if I want to at the house, but I'm not that fussed. I want to start getting out and doing some stuff, I think. However, he's got a couple of bits and pieces here. I'm going to pay 1 resource for the stray cat. That's my ally. I can discard it and evade a non-elite enemy at your location, so that's quite a good little thing to have there. It cost me 1, so he's just sat there. So that's my second action. Third action, let's just go straight into Rivertown. Let's see what we've got. Okay, first of all we get 1 clue per investigator. 2 investigators, so 2 clues. I know from previous plays of this game I want to get around as quick as possible. There is something unsettling about the water of the Miskatonic River tonight. It ripples and bubbles as though something is beneath its surface. Nothing else happens as I go in here. So that's his third action. So Ashcan is making his way out. So, enemy phase. Let's just have a look. Peter Warren stays where he is for now. There's an acolyte down here. It does say forced after acolyte plays enters play. Place 1 doom on it. I'll put that on now because so far it hasn't affected the game. But if I get 6 doom, then the agenda will continue forward. So he's sitting there basically creating doom. So that's all the enemies. All that happens with the enemies. So the upkeep phase. We flip the cards, so they're back now. We both draw 1 resource and a new card. So Mark has got fine clothes. That's good. Reduce the difficulty of all skill tests you perform during parley actions by 2. So that means if I need to talk to somebody, it's going to be a lot easier. And another stray cat for Ashcan Pete. He's obviously hanging about in a lot of alleys where cats are. So it's the Mythos phase. We place 1 doom on the doom agenda. As I say, this could take 6. Currently, so we've got 2 now because of the acolyte and the doom agenda. And then we draw the top cards of the encounter deck. So first of all, Mark's card is another acolyte. Spawn at any empty location, and he also comes with a doom on him. So what I might do, he's quite handy with his fists, but he only takes 1 damage. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put him here at your house and then automatically engage him with Mark ready. So he'll hopefully knock him out and we can get rid of that doom at least. And Ashcan, Crypt Chill, Revelation, Test, Will 4. So he's got a Will of 4 anyway. Let's see if there's anything I can put into this from my cards. None of these have got Will on them, annoyingly. So it's going to be a straight test. And it says if you fail, choose and discard 1 asset you control. The asset I control is a stray cat. Let's have a look, see what we got. It's a skull, Skull is minus X. X is the highest number of doom on any cultist enemy in play. We've got 2 cultists in play and both have only got 1 doom on them, so minus 1. So I lose it by 1. So I have to discard the stray cat. That's a shame, I've just got that into hand, but at least I've got another one ready to go. So that was the mythos phase. So back to the investigation phase. We'll start with Mark. So he attacks the acolytes. He's got a 5 fist against their 3. However, he's got minus 1 because of Sophie. So he's actually on 4 now. 4 against 3. What I will do is I will use unexpected courage to give me a +2. So I am now on 6 against 3. 0. That means he beats the acolyte, so gets rid of it and gets rid of that doom as well, which is good. That's his first action. Get that out of the way. Second action, he will move to Rivertown, and his third and final action, spend 1 from his last supply of his flashlight and try to investigate Rivertown. He has a 2, that becomes a 1. Rivertown drops down to 0, so it's 1 against 0. And that's a hooded monster, and -2. Oh dear, and place 1 doom on the nearest cultist. The cultist now has 2 on him. So that was rubbish of you. Well done. Over to Ashcan Pete. He will investigate with using perception, which gives him +2 on his test. So that will give him a. He's starting with a 2 +2, so 4 against 1. Unless he pulls out a special card, this should get this. Yes. 4 minus 1 is 3, so he takes 1 clue. His second action, he will exhaust Duke to investigate with a base skill of 4. So it's now going to be 4 against 1. So a good chance he'll get his second clue. -2, 4 minus 2 is 2. So yes, he still beats it. So we get the second clue. But Duke is exhausted. So, with that in mind, interestingly, Ashcan can discard a card from his hand and ready any asset he controls. So he could ready Duke again if he wanted to, but there's not much point. He's got 1 action left, so his second action is going to be spend these 2 clues to draw another acolyte out of the deck. Herman Collins, the Undertaker, spawns at the graveyard. Choose and discard 4 cards from your hand and then add Herman Collins to the victory display. So he's quite an easy one to get, actually. So let's just stick him in there, and I'll probably go and try and get him straight away. So that's Ashcan Pete. He's finished his. At this point we might split up, one go one way and one go the other. So that's the end of the player turn. The enemy phase, the acolyte stays where he is. These both stay where they are, just waiting. So then we ready all cards. Ready these 2. Ready Duke again. And everybody gets a new resource and a new card. So Mark has got Dynamite Blast, excellent for blowing up big monsters, and Ashcan has got Look What I Found. Play fast. After a skill test, you test by 2 or less while investigating. Discover 2 clues in your location. Okay, that's quite useful. So that was the upkeep phase, and then we go on to the mythos phase. So another doom. So we're currently on 4, so I actually need to get rid of this acolyte because he's bothering me some. But Mark takes a new card on Wings of Darkness. Revelation. Test. Feat 4. If you fail, take 1 damage and 1 horror, then disengage from each non-night goat enemy engaged with you and move to a central location. Well, he's not engaged with any night goats, thankfully, but I've still got a test. So I've got a 3 against 4. I'm going to chuck fine clothes in, I think, just to... No, I will chuck in dodge. That gives him a +1. When it comes to the this test, so he's got a +1 on his test. Makes 4 against 4. I'm looking for a 0 or better. Let's see what we get. Oh, that's an automatic fail. So he takes 1 damage and 1 horror immediately. So, and it says here, forced if Mark Harrigan has 4 or less damage on him, flip Sophie. So we now flip Sophie. It says here, take 1 direct damage. You get +2 to your skill value for his skill test, so I can take some damage, and then if I get 5 or more damage on him, then I have to flip her back again. And Ashcan's, he gets a locked door. Attack to the location with the most clues and without a locked door attached. The attached location cannot be investigated until we pass a test. And it says with the most clues. Let's just lock it to my house. Let's lock the door up there and get it out of the way. So that was a mythos phase, nice and easy. Not too much there. So I'm going to send 1 or both of these guys. I might send Mark down to go and fight this acolyte to take him out. So we'll do Mark's actions. First of all, he's going to take the beat cop with him. That's costing him 4. So we'll put the beat cop into play. What the beat cop does is he gets +1 on the fist. Not that Mark really needs it, so he's going to go 1. So we're in the south side. We reveal this Mars boarding house. As an action, we can search for an ally and add it to the game and shuffle your deck. However, it does have 2 clues on it. So I need clues anyway to go and talk to that chap over there. So the acolyte is now in Mark's threat area. So we're going to fight this guy on his second action. So I've got Fist of 5, -1. Oh no, Sophie doesn't give us any -1s at the moment. We've got Fist of 5, +1. So that's 6 against his 3. I've got 2 actions in case the first one doesn't work. That's 6-0, so that wins. So that beats the acolyte and knocks out that doom, which is good. So it's bringing our doom right back down. His third action will be to investigate here. So he has investigation of 2 against the shroud of 2, so it needs a 0 or more. That's the skull. -X is the highest number of doom on a cultist player. There are none, so that's 0. So 2 against 2 with a 0 means that he takes a clue. So that's good. He's done alright there. So Ashcan will head over to the graveyard. It says the graveyard lies at the foot of French Hills. Some of the headstones date back to the 17th century when the early colonists came to Arkham. Considering what happened in your house, you're not completely keen on heading there. But we've got to. Forced, after you enter the graveyard, do a will test of 3. If you fail, you must either take 2 horror or move to Rivertown. So Ashcan has a will of 4. Duke can't do anything to add to that. So it's 4 against 3. Have I got anything I can use? Doesn't look like it. No, so I'm going to stick with what I've got. 4 plus 1 is 5, so he beats it and ignores that, so that's great. So that was one action. Second action is choose and discard 4 cards from your hand and then add Herman Collins to the victory display. So I'm going to do that. So 4 cards from the hand. I'm going to keep the stray cat and get rid of these 4 here instead. So that was 2 actions. So we've now got Herman Collins as part of our victory display, so I'll stick him up here, out of the way. We also get a victory for moving there. So third action, I'm going to move Ashcan right back into Rivertown to get out of that place. Oh, we also should have had 4 clues there actually, so no, I forgot about that. I'm going to leave him in there. And I will investigate with Duke, who gives me a base level of 4 against the Shroud of 1. So 4 against 1. -1, 3, so he still gets a clue. So that's good. So between them, they've actually got clues that they can spend next turn to get another one of these naughty people out. So it's the enemy phase. Currently I have no enemies. The only one is Peter Warren over there, who's not done anything yet. So Ashcan's probably going to hang around in the graveyard and try and get some more of these clues. So we reactivate everything. Duke comes back up, and then we draw a new resource for both and a card. So perception for Mark, and for Ashcan, baseball bat. Excellent. Just in case he needs to smack somebody in the face, which I'm sure he probably will have to. Do a mythos phase. We're now on 3 out of 6, and then we have to draw the cards. So first of all, Mark's obscuring fog. Attached to your location, limit 1 per location, and he gets a +2 shroud. So that's stuck on there for now. If we get to remove the obscuring fog, if I get to beat it, then we discard it. And Ashcan, hunting 9 gaunt, monster 9 gaunt hunter. While attempting to evade hunting 9 gaunt, double the negative modifier of each revealed chaos token. Oh, that's not nice, is it? And that will spawn with him, which is pretty poor. But I've got Duke, so I can attack Duke and also bring Duke back into play as well. So that's going to be okay, I think. So that was the mythos phase. So the investigator phase. Now Mark is up against 4 shroud here, sorry, and he's only got 2 for his surge. I want to get that last clue out of there. But he's got perception, so for his first, I'm going to try it. I'm going to chuck in perception to give him a +2, to give him 4 against 4 shroud, to try to get that last clue. Oh, that's a win. That is a +1 for each damage, so he gets +1 because he's damaged. So he gets that clue. He can then get rid of the obscuring fog. As his second action, he'll spend 2 clues to reveal the next cultist. Wolfman Drew. Spawn downtown. When Wolfman Drew attacks, heal 1 damage from him. Oh dear, oh dear. That's not, we don't want him, do we? So he's in downtown up there. So that was Mark's second action. Third action, let's make a move across to St Mary's Hospital and just see what we can get. Arkham's only hospital. St Mary's has a 24-hour receiving room and is busy at all hours of the night. Dr Mortimer and nurse Sharon have been particularly stressed lately, thanks in part to recent events. As an action, I can heal 3 damage. As an extended stay at St Mary's can do wonders for the body, but has no effect on one's psyche. The effect on one's psyche is unclear. That has 2 clues on it, so I'm going to try to get those before I move up to see Peter Warren. So that's Mark's actions finished up. Now over with Ashcan. He's got to fight this Night Gaunt, so I'm going to exhaust Duke and attack with a base skill of 4, which gives him a +1 damage. So that would give the Night Gaunt 2 damage. So let's see what happens. So it's 4 against its 3. Is there anything else I can throw in? Let's chuck in a baseball bat. Give it a 5 against 3. -1, 5 becomes 4, 3, so that beats it. Dealing those 2 extra damage. 2 damage at least. Now the Night Gaunt annoyingly takes 4 damage. But I can discard a card from my hand and then ready an asset you control, limit once per round. So I will discard that stray cat and ready Duke again, who will then exhaust as a second action and attack again. So this time it's 4 against 3. And 4 against 3 gets me a hooded figure, which is -2. So 4 becomes 2, so he fails, and it also says place 1 doom on the nearest cultist enemy. The nearest cultist enemy is Peter Warren. Okay, so that's slightly annoying, but what I can do for Pete's last action is I'm going to evade the Night Gaunt. I've got a 3 evade against 1. So that's an Elder Time, +2 and ready Duke. Not that I really need him, but I've evaded him. So that exhausts the Night Gaunt. So I'll just put him up here. So I may get to move before he readies. Well, I won't actually, no, because he'll ready in a second anyway. And that was Ashcan's last action. So it's the enemy phase. None of these do anything, these 2. The Night Gaunt doesn't do anything. So then it's the upkeep phase. So this is when the Night Gaunt re-attacks. Duke is already ready. Let's ready these 2. Ashcan draws a card. He has a newspaper, which is good. It's a +2 when investigating. He also takes another token. He's got loads of tokens now, loads of resources. Mark gets another resource and takes another card. Flashlights, excellent, just what we needed. So that's them 2 done. That's everything readied. So now it's the Doom tokens. Now we're on 5. It's getting close. And Mark's Doom Mythos card. Hunting Shadow, Peril, Revelation. You must either choose one, spend 1 clue or take 2 damage. Well, he has no clues to spend, so he's going to take 2 damage. Swap the 3 for a 1. So he hasn't yet reached the threshold for Sophie to flip her back. So that continues on. So that was his card. So it's Ashcan's card. Wings of Darkness, Revelation, test. Feat 4. If you fail, take a damage in a horror and disengage with none each non-9 gaunt enemy engaged with you and move to the central location. Well, I've got a 9 gaunt, but I'm going to have to test anyway. So I'm on 3 against 4. I can't use Duke, unfortunately, in this one. That's an automatic fail. So Ashcan takes a damage and a horror. And it says then disengage from each non-9 gaunt enemy engaged with you and move to the central location. I'm not, I'm actually engaged with the 9 gaunt, so we can ignore that. So that was the Mythos phase. Could have been worse, could have been better, a little bit of both. So let's do Mark first of all. He's going to spend 2 assets, resources, to get flashlight into play. He uses 3 of these. That's his first action. Second action, he will use the flashlight to reduce the shroud to 0. He's on 2. So 0, so gets 1. He will do the second and third action to do exactly the same again. And that's an automatic win with a +3. So he takes a second clue. So Mark is hoovering up these clues while Ashcan is fighting Night Gaunts on the other side of town. So back over here again, we will throw Duke into this, gives him a 4 against Night Gaunt of 3. So he needs maybe a -1 or above to deal 2 damage to kill the Night Gaunt. 0, that's enough, that's 2 damage. Finally gets rid of that Night Gaunt, that's his first action. Second action, he will discard newspaper to ready Duke again, and then exhaust Duke to investigate with a skill of 4. This is his second action. +1, 4, 5, so he gets another one of these. So he will then, for his third action, spend 2 clues to reveal another cultist. And this is Ruth Turner. She spawns at St Mary's Hospital. Forced after Ruth is revealed, add her to the victory display. After she is evaded. So Ruth is there, and then she will engage with Mark. So I'm going to have to try to evade her with some of these cards that I've got. We'll see what we can do. So that was Ashcan's last turn. So, enemy phase. There is no enemies on board that are doing anything. However, we then go on to the upkeep phase. So we flip back their cards. They both get a resource. I wish Ashcan could actually spend some of his resources. They both get a card. Mark gets Guard Dog, and Ashcan gets Lucky, which may be very useful, maybe not. Says fast, play when you would fail a skill test, get to +2 to your skill. So that's good. He can add 2 to a skill test he's just failed. So the Doom phase, there are now 6 Doom in play. So remove those. Flip the card. Oh, it's the Masked Hunter. Spawn, engaged with prey, and the prey is the one with the most clues, and that's currently Mark. The Masked Hunter gets +2 health per investigator. Oh dear, he's already got 6. While you're engaged with the Masked Hunter, you cannot discover or spend clues. So Mark is now actually up against these 2. He should be able to deal some damage out to them both though. So he's got +2 health per investigator, so he's on 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 in fact. So this is still the mythos phase, isn't it? It says, time is running short, the minutes pass quickly as our investigation continues. We can resign as an action. And 8 is the amount of doom now. So we need 6 of these guys. There's currently only one. But, you know, we've revealed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so we need to reveal all of them. Mythos phase continues on. We draw a card each. So Mark's card is Obscuring Fog, Revelation, add to your location, and it gets +2 Shroud. That's good because I don't really care about that. We've got all the clues we need from there anyway. An Ashcan, Locked Door, Revelation, attack to the location with the most clues or without a locked door attached. Fortunately, it's where he is. There's the most clues. So I need to test a 4 fist to break down the door, or a foot 4 to pick the locks. So that's a bit annoying. We could always set Duke on it. Mark's first act is he's going to try to evade Ruth. Now she's got 5. He's starting on a 3. Sorry, he's starting on 3. He's going to use Fine Clothes, turn that into a 4. I don't think there's anything else he can do. So it's 4 against 3. Let's just see what we can do. Ah, 4 against 2. So he doesn't evade her. So instead, what we'll do is we'll attack the Masked Hunter. So he's got a fist of 4. We're starting on 5. The Beatcock gives him a +1, so that's 6. And we'll chuck in physical training, turn that into a 7. Hey, that's a good one. That gives him a +1 for every damage, so 7, 8, 9, 10. So that's beat him down. And gives him 1 damage. What we'll do is also, so his second turn he'll do the same again. So we said 7, sorry, no, it's 6. Chucking Guard Dog, 7, 6. It comes down to that deals another damage, and then I will use the fast discard Beatcock, deal 1 damage to an enemy at your location. So the Masked Hunter, he can take another hit. So slowly wearing him down at least. But Mark is going to get hammered this turn. And over to Ashcan. Right, he's going to try to pick the lock. So he's starting off with a 3 against 4. I've got Lucky as well, which I can play if I fail it whenever. So a Skull minus X is the highest number of doom on a cultist enemy in play. So -1. So we got 4, 3, -1 becomes 2. However, I'll chuck that in using a resource. So that resets it, gives me a +2. So that gets rid of the locked door. And we will then exhaust Duke to investigate with a skill of 4 against 1. This should be an easy one. +1, yep, that's got 1 clue. And then he will, his last and final action this turn, he will investigate again. This time with his book of 2 against 1. Skull minus X is the number of doom on the cultist, so -1. 1 still beats 1, so he gets a second clue, and it's flipped. So that was pretty good. Ashcan is doing all right at the moment. Investigating this graveyard. So it's the enemy phase. Each enemy attacks if able. So Ruth deals 1 damage, the Masked Hunter deals 2, and a horror. So that's 3 damage in total, and 1 horror. So Mark is now on 6 damage, so he's 9. We flip the card because he has 5 or more damage on him, and she cannot leave play. He gets -1 for each of his skills, and he hasn't got 4 or less on him at the moment, so I'm going to leave him. So he's getting -1 on all his skills, which is a bit crap because he doesn't need that right now. So that was the enemy phase. Reset phase. These guys there. Tokens. And Mark gets first aid. Oh, nice. And Ashcan will get scavenging. After you successfully investigate by 2 or more, exhaust scavenging and choose an item in your discard pile and add it to your hand. It's an asset. Alright, so that was them. So it's over to Mythos phase, so a new Doom token goes down. Mark's card, false lead, treachery, revelation. If you have no clues, false lead gains surge. If you have 1 or more clues, test. Yes, he does have a clue, so test on 4 on the investigate against his 2. If he fails, he loses 1 of his clues for each point he fails by. So 2 against 4, 3 against 4, so he only loses 1. Could have been worse. Could have been much worse. And so that's his. So Ashcan has an acolyte, spawn any empty location and place Doom on it. So right, I'm going to put this guy down in south side for now, just out of the way. I've got a plan. We'll deal with him in a bit. So it's over to the players. So Ashcan is actually going to go 1, 2 over to the Miskatonic University. Miskatonic University is one of the most prestigious colleges in the Northeast. The university library is famous for its collection of occult books maintained by the esteemed Dr. Henry Armitage. And as an action, I can search the top 6 cards of your deck for a tome or spell and add it to your hand. Don't have them anyway, so I'm not so fussed about that. But we have 4 clues at the Miskatonic University. But more importantly, if you remember, as an action, it says I can spend 2 clues and parley and add Peter Warren to the victory display. So Ashcan will spend 2 of his clues, go and have a chat to Peter and get him to one side as his 3rd and final action. Alright, Mark is just going to attack the hunter. He starts on a 5, -1 against 4, so it's 4 against 4. He's going to get killed this turn otherwise. 4, -2, nothing. Second action. Really needed a gun or something here. 0, 4 against 4, yes, that's enough. That gives him another hit. And his final action. 4 against 4. That's the -3. If you fail, place one of your clues on your location. Great. So he has failed, and that is out. So that was Mark's turnover. So it's the enemy phase. Hunters move. They're on the acolyte stage where he is. However, Mark is engaged with Ruth and the Masked Hunter, both of whom will attack, dealing him 3 damage. He only takes 9, he's already got 9, so that wipes Mark out. So Mark is now out of this game. And takes that away. And they are now all back in St Mary's Hospital, annoyingly. So that was the enemy phase. So it's the reset phase. So Ashcan gets his resources. He also mob enforcer, basic weakness, and I have to spend 4 resources to parley with him to get rid of him. Well, that's alright, I've got loads and loads of resources. At least he's coming just after, so we're not too bothered about that. Okay, so over to the Doom. It's on 3 because of this acolyte down here. We take a card. False lead, revelation. If you have no clues, false lead gains surge. He has no clues, so we ignore that. Mysterious chanting, revelation. Place 2 doom on the nearest cultist enemy. If there are no cultist enemies in play, search the encounter deck and discard a pile for a cultist enemy and draw it. So the nearest cultist enemy is going to be these 2. I'm going to go and try and hammer the Master Avenger, so I'm going to put it on him in a second. Right, so that was the Mythos phase. Investigated phase. First off, let's get rid of this guy. 1 action. Spend 3, 4 to discard that card. Second action, come down here, take on the Masked Hunter and Ruth Turner. So the third action, he will use Duke to attack the creature. So that's going to give him a base skill of 4 and a +1 damage. So then the Masked Hunter will almost be dead. You just have to keep fighting with him. So 4 against 4. I got -2. And place 1 doom on the nearest cultist enemy. So it's going to be him because he's engaged with him. So that was it. That was Ashman's last turn, and almost it's probably his last turn ever. I will see. So over to the enemy phase. These 2 attack. So she deals 1 damage, he deals 2 damage, and horror. So that's 3, 4. Reset everything. Dude gets reset. And the Mythos phase. Oh, sorry, no. We draw cards. He's got a knife now. And another resource that he's never going to spend. So it's the Mythos phase. So it's 3 of 8, 4 of 8 at the moment, halfway through this one. And I'll take 1 card. Wizard of the Order. Spawn any empty location. Retaliate force to the end of the Mythos phase. Place 1 doom on the Wizard of Order. So he takes another Mythos phase. So he's going to be building those up. Another Mythos token, sorry. I'm going to stick him in Miskatonic University because I'll probably be going up there in a minute. Hopefully, if I survive. So it's the Investigators phase. Again, we will exhaust Duke and attack. So 4. Oh, I just realised, no. Forget that. I just realised we've got 3, 6, 7, 8 doom. So that means time is running short. 8. We flip this card. 12 bells ring out across the town. It is midnight, so there is no time left to investigate the city. You must act based on the information you collected from the cultists you found. Revelation. Result 2. Resolution 2. 12 bells ring out, signalling midnight. You're out of time. The cult's ritual will begin shortly. You've managed to obtain some useful information about the cult and its plans. You can only hope it's enough. So, if I was playing this as part of the campaign, then there was a few things I would write down into there. That it's past midnight, some of them have escaped. I did manage to actually get 2 of the cultists into the victory display, but in total, how many victory points did I get? 1, 2, 3, 4. That's not too bad. Unfortunately, the Masked Hunter and Ruth Turner both evaded me. but at least Ashcan Pete survived this night anyway. I might take this on to the next game and see what happens there. Well, thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this. Hopefully there's not been too many spoilers, but I hope you've enjoyed it as much as I've enjoyed playing it. So thank you for watching.